I'll never forget the match they played at Pust. Team A versus Team B. Near full time, the score stood 1-1. A penalty was awarded to Valmere's side. George, ever the trickster, kicked off his boot right in front of the penalty taker, who missed the goal. George blew the whistle. His team celebrated. North Korean students roared with laughter. The final score 1-1. Yes, welcome back to Doc Wales Diaries. It's an honour to have you journey with me. In this episode, we return to North Korea. Not with a sermon or a speech, but with something far more unexpected. A football. This is the story of how a beautiful game became a bridge between cultures, between strangers, between worlds divided by politics, but united by passion for soccer. A story of laughter in the shadow of watchtowers, of Brazilian flair on North Korean soil, of dreams sketched on a dusty pitch, and faith that refused to be benched. It's about a young man chasing a ball, but finding a purpose. About a Welshman who preferred rugby, but found God moving through soccer cleats and goalposts. It's a story of deaf players, blind students, and those who dared to believe that even in a land of silence, joy can roar. This is not just a sports story. It's a testimony to friendship, hope, and the holy mischief of those who carry light where the world says it can't shine. Come with me now into a story of goals far greater than sport, and a field where the game still echoes with grace. Real Madrid paid too much for Gareth Bale. There are better players in the world. That was the opening shot, fired with conviction by a group of bright-eyed, soccer-mad students at Pyongyang University of Science and Technology in North Korea. I smiled. My reply came with a twinkle in my eye. You've forgotten one thing that makes Gareth Bale truly unique. The students leaned in, puzzled. His hairstyle? One offered, half joking. No, I said. He's worth every penny because he is Welsh. He's one of ours. That broke the ice. What followed was more than just a debate over football. It became a bridge between two worlds. From Bale to Wales, from soccer to science, from curiosity to connection. The conversation flowed. The students, although always accompanied by watchful minders, engaged freely and warmly. Some requested lunch meetings. Others wanted me to join at supper. Their motivation was clear. To speak English, yes, but also to understand the stranger in their midst. That stranger was me, a Welsh doctor, quietly planting seeds for something bigger. I went from table to table learning names, hearing dreams. What began as a casual chat soon laid the foundation for something greater, medical teaching. It was a program we launched in December 2017. Dozens of science students, men and women, signed up for our pre-med and clinical medicine courses. But let's rewind. This journey didn't begin at Pust. It started years earlier. Back in 2006, I was in Yanji, China, visiting the University of Science and Technology, UST. There I met President Kim, a visionary leader who had a dream. He wanted to establish a sister university in North Korea. At the time, Pust existed only in 3D and CAD drawings, but exciting blueprints shared the quiet hope and faith. Google Earth showed me its proposed location on the south bank of the Taedong River, not far from the Kaesong Road. Pinned on Google Earth by a power station chimney and the Grand Arch of Reunification. The site had once held the Thomas Memorial Church, its remnants unearthed when bulldozers rolled in to lay the foundations. There was a history beneath the surface and promise above it. During my second week mission in 2007, I saw the dream begin to rise, student dorms taking shape across the road from the Arch of Reunification. President Kim's vision, once merely plans on paper, was becoming real, even if it meant relocating an army camp. For full account of this, read God's Collaborator by my wife Stella Price. I became part of that vision. Over 2 decades, my role evolved: adjunct professor, recruiter, mentor, and medical program pioneer. Alongside Dr. Moses Kang and his wonderful wife Sally, I assisted in that extensive work of setting up a student and faculty healthcare system. But my connection to North Korea ran deeper still, through my involvement with KFPD, Korea Federation for the Protection of the Disabled, and its courageous founder, Munchol Kim, who has become a dear friend. North Koreans love soccer. The students at PUST were no different. Many spoke proudly of their 1966 World Cup victory over Italy at a 1-0 win etched into FIFA history. I even met the son of the goal scorer, now a coach at the National Soccer Academy. That passion sparked an idea. What if we brought world-class coaching to North Korea? Enter George Pereira, a charismatic Brazilian coach who had run the Brazilian Soccer Academy and brought elite players to Wales. When he arrived at PUST, the students lit up. They showcased their skills and pitched their dream of building a top-class football field. Even Mr. Lee, the head of security at PUST, was enchanted. He phoned Mrs. Han, the head of FIFA for North Korea, and a personal friend, setting the stage for a meeting that would break new ground. George did much more than coach. He really connected with KFPD, and he brought gifts, footballs, jerseys and goal balls for the visually impaired players. I presented Munchol with a Welsh rugby shirt. At a deeply moving meeting with Munchol, we explored how football could serve the disabled youth. George was quickly enlisted to coach the KFPD deaf team. Later on, when George visited PUST, President Kim even let him sit in the president's chair and steer the wheel in his office. That was the kind of respect George earned. Later that year, George returned with Valmir, another gifted Brazilian coach. I'll never forget the match they played at PUST, Team A versus Team B. Near full time, the score stood 1-1. A penalty was awarded to Valmir's side. George, ever the trickster, kicked off his boot right in front of the penalty taker, who missed the goal. George blew the whistle. His team celebrated. North Korean students roared with laughter. The final score 1-1. The PUST North Korea president, Mr. Park, challenged George. "Why don't you help us build a better pitch?" George smiled and replied, "Well, we can, but name one North Korean university with dedicated Brazilian coaches on staff." There was silence. In 2017, amidst growing international tension and travel restrictions, we returned, this time with Jefferson and Isaias, 2 top-tier Brazilian coaches. They trained players and mentored teachers at the National Football Academy. Their warmth, talent and humility left a deep mark. Jefferson, a former midfielder for Porto Alegre, was like the Pied Piper. The students adored him. Before we left, the entire academy, dressed in crisp uniforms, posed with us for one final photograph, a moment frozen in time, a promise that the story wasn't over. COVID closed the borders, embassies withdrew, dreams were paused but not erased. Our Brazilian brothers, unable to access KFPD, still visited PUST. Meanwhile, George and Jefferson took their passion to war-torn Ukraine, using sport as a ministry. And in Wales, Reverend Steve Jones, founder of 360 All Ability Sports, answered a call. Steve had met Munchol in Oxford during the UK tour of the North Korean disabled performers. Later, armed with goal balls, he travelled alone to Pyongyang to teach blind students the art of goal ball. which is now a Paralympic sport. Steve now serves as the Global Disabled Sports Community and Chaplain, which he did so at the London 2012 and later Tokyo Paralympics. I never imagined as a rugby player and loosehead prop forward that I'd fall in love with soccer. But through these journeys and through these remarkable Brazilian brothers, I have found a love for it. Our work in North Korea isn't finished. One day we will build that world-class soccer pitch at Puss. The gates will open again. Suspicion will give way to trust, and relationships built on shared passions will pave the road ahead. Until our next Doc Wales story, we press on. One conversation, one student, one football at a time. Doc Wales.
Mae'r bismerion wedi brifo a'r gath wedi scrapo Johnny Ba. Oi! Oi! Mae'r baban yn y crig a'r crifo a'r gath wedi scrapo Johnny Ba. Oi! Oi! Sosban bach y berfi yn y tar, sosban bach y berfi yn y tar, a'r gath wedi scrapo Johnny Ba. Oi! Oi!